Okay, good morning, all of you. So we will start with the idea of the spring here. So what is the spring? Spring is an elastic body. So spring is a, what is the first point? Spring is an elastic body. It is that one. So elastic body in the sense, so if you plot the potential energy one, well, let's take this is the potential energy. I'm writing potential energy. And this is interatomic distance. How the corresponding graph? The graph is going to be, okay, fine. So this is the interatomic distance. So for any elastic body you take it, no, the potential energy versus interatomic distance will be variable like this. And this distance will be, let's take this distance will be R naught. Okay, we'll give the name for this. So this will be the R naught, or you can call X naught anything that is. So now how the, let me come finish off the class. There's a rough graph. Okay, look at this. These are the primary points which I'm interested here. So there's a one point. There's another point, and there's another point. Let me give the numbers for this one, the point one, the point two, and let this be the point three. Now, how the, so what is the thing that one? So there's the elastic body of length L. This one, elastic rod, anything you can take it. So I am going to increase the length. Then the distance between all the atoms will increase. The distance between all the atoms are going to increase. Who will increase? Some external force, some deforming force, you can write it. So deforming force, what it does, it will increase the distance between them. This is initially at initial state. So now if I come and check it, no, the distance between atoms, it has become now x2. The distance between atoms, it has become x2, or r2, you write it. Now, what are that bubbles? That these bubbles are the atoms. The distance between them now it become R2, that one. So initially, if you look at the body, no, what is the distance between the atoms? Will be equal to, say, R naught, you call it. The distance between atoms is R naught. So as I increase, as I apply some external force, deforming force, then so the distance between atoms will become R2. Now similarly, I can apply some deforming force where the length of the body will decrease. So then the distance between atoms will become R1. Okay, this is the overall picture. So how do what I'm doing? I'm going to apply a deforming force of this kind. FD, you call FD. So now this is the at natural length. The body is at natural length. So this you can call like a elongated. And what about this? This you should call it as compressed. Got the idea, no? So there's one basic idea of the elastic body, that one. Now, what will happen inside the body, inside the atoms? Now, according to the graph, the potential G will vary with the distance between atoms according to this particular graph. In elasticity, you're going to learn in detail. So there's a small basic is which I'm taking help from elasticity chapter. How the potential G varies with interatomic distance. What do you mean interatomic distance? These are the atoms, no? The bubbles, what you can see, no? These are the atoms.
Sir, what is FD?
Deforming force, external force.
Okay, sir.
FD is a deforming force. Say nothing big. You might have taken some elastic band, no? As you increase the length, as you decrease the length, you take a razor, you try to increase and decrease. Then what you apply force to deform a body is called as a deforming force. Got the idea, no? And now anything will happen inside the body. Now you look at the elastic body. If you stretch it, then if you remove deforming force, you take elastic band, stretch it. Then the moment you release, what will happen? It will try to restore its natural length. So how come it will restore its natural length? According to the graph, how the force and potential are related, this is the one basic formula. F equal to minus du by dr. The potential and force are related by this particular equation. F equal to minus du by dr. So let's come for this. Let's come for this at point 2. At point 2, what is the length? What is the length? What is the distance between atoms? It is more than natural length, no? It's more than natural length. Then, so I'll calculate the slope at this particular point. If I calculate slope, what I get slope? Positive or negative? Positive slope, no?
Positive. Yes, sir,
So
positive.
please don't repeat, pa. Sushant, Pavan, Teja, you should not talk. Only when question is there, you are supposed to talk. Or else I had to remove from the class itself. I can do that also. Please, you have to cooperate. Almost 2 months over, you are troubling teacher. You should not repeat. Just say it's not a physical classroom. How many times I have to tell you? Keep out your fingers happily. Keep out your fingers. Every time I am don't know like why you should repeat. Just listen happily. No. If I ask you, repeat. If you ask you, then reply. Otherwise, don't do anything. That one. If teacher asks anybody, please, then you come for it. Any corrections are there, come for it. Almost I'll show complaints, sir. Like, sir, unnecessary students are talking in between. They're sending messages. Tell me like there's a last option I can remove from the classroom. Especially 2-3 persons always they are at they want to repeat things. It's very bad, no? Especially in physics, you are not supposed to do. Other subjects maybe. Okay, what is the slope at point 2? Slope at point 2 is positive, no? Okay, look at the slope positive. Then what is F? F will be negative. So what do you mean by F negative? Attractive force will act here. So on the molecules, how the force will be acting? The force will be acting in this direction. And what this force will do? It will try to bring the molecules to its original distance. Now you can ask me, sir, what about why you are not showing any force? Let's come for the slope.
Sir,
Let's come for the slope at point 3. You please do listen. In the end, you can ask doubt. Because I'm there in the beginning of concept. In the end, I'll give opportunity. Okay, any doubt you clarify, then you have to ask it. So what is the slope at point 3? It is 0. Slope at point 3, it is 0. Okay, that one. So what is the force acting on the items? Will be zero. So there, so I'm not showing any force. The moment I'll increase the length of the object, then the distance between atoms will increase. Then the what all I spend energy, no, that energy will be converted into increase in energy of the elastic body. Okay, got this? So now you can ask questions that potential increase from where it has come. The X-ray agent does work, no, to stretch elastic band. You have to do mechanical work. So work done by you, what will happen? Converted into increase in energy of the elastic body. So therefore, the potential got increased. So at point two, you check it. Force is positive. Slope is positive. If slope positive, then F will be negative. What is this F? F is the restoring force. How the elastic force, elastic restoring force, it is called as. Okay, got this? So this will be the elastic restoring force. So how do this force will act here? According to this particular formula, now it will be F negative means it will be attractive. It will act in such a way that it will bring body back to its original shape. I'm showing the rough idea. Now similarly, let's come for that one. Instead of stretching the body, I will what happen? I will decrease the length. If I decrease the length, so to decrease the length also what happen? I have to do work because I'll apply deforming force. I'm going to press it, or you take some sponge, you squeeze it. No, so what happened to volume of that decreases? No, here we are discussing about a rod. So therefore, here the length of the rod decreases, the distance between atom decreases. Come for this. If distance between atom decreases, then to decrease the length of the object, you have to do work. So work done by me, what will happen? Will convert it into increase in elastic potential. So now this will be the distance between the atoms. Then let's come for the force. So what is the what is the slope? Slope here is negative, no? Negative of negative, F will be positive. F will be positive means how it should be repulsive force. So how the force will be acting? The force acting will be in this direction. I'll show it on this one. So for this diagram, the force will be in this direction. So what it does, it'll be like this. I'm just magnifying it. This will be. So here what when the distance between atoms should increase, no? So the elastic forces will act in such a way that now they should repel the atoms. So therefore, here it's again a restoring force. It will act in such a way that it will try to increase the length. If you remove deforming force with the help of this elastic force, it will come to its original length. So there's a one basic idea of the elastic body, that one. So why is like a force you are showing like this? Because of this particular graph, which the modern atomic structure is helping us to study the elastic body with the help of the atom's behavior. So got the idea? Any doubt, anybody?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, the forces on the atoms in the middle are balanced, right?
Oh, no balance. I'm just showing some rough idea. This is.
So aren't they equal, sir?
They should be. So like here, what will happen? The atoms, I'm showing that there's only a schematic diagram to show that the force acting on the atoms will be like this, and with that, they'll come to original position. So you're saying FF0, sir, how it will move.
Yes, sir.
To make you understand, I just brought this one. You can just discuss only two atoms. In that way, you can manage. Because again, the crystal lattice structure inside the atoms, how the atoms will be arranged, all that is needed. There's just only a schematic diagram, or you can say logical diagram. Okay, fine. So
Okay, sir.
what you have to remember, if the forces, if elastic body is, if the length of the body is increased, then what happens? The distance between atoms, what happens will increase, and the restoring elastic force will act in such a way that it will decrease the distance between the atoms, and it will bring the body back to original length. If the elastic body is, its length is decreased by deforming force, then the distance between atoms will decrease. Then the inside the elastic restoring forces will act in such a way that it will try to increase the length or distance between the atoms. So because of that, what happens? The object will try to increase the length. So this is called like a compressed, this is called like a elongated. Okay, altogether, Now, when an elastic body compressed or elongated, what do you mean by compressed? Length less than natural length. What do you mean by elongation? When the length of the object greater than natural length. So when it is elongated, so what elastic forces will do? Will try to decrease the length. If you compress it, what the elastic forces will act? They'll act in such a way that it will try to increase the length. So this particular elastic body, a good example of this elastic body is what I'll call a spring. These are this is spring. So the spring will have a natural length L naught. Sir, what about the spring? I think you look at the spring in pen. Nowadays it's available for bike. At many places, this particular spring you see, no? So that is what I'm going to discuss here now. So if you look at the spring, it will have a natural length. Means no elongation, no compression. So spring at natural length. Now I will increase the elongation. So what I did, I increased the elongation of the spring. No? So what you can say, no, length of the spring is more. So here, what is the length of the spring? Say L1. And now what you can say, it is said to be elongated. And now here, this is said to be compressed. Rather than the first diagram, I'll take help of this. So now overall, I'll show spring force acting in this way. So what is the overall? So this will be the L naught plus X. What is X? X is the total elongation. Then now the spring force will act in this.
Sir, your voice is lagging.
The spring force is acting like this. I'll check mine. I'll check connection. Wait. No.
It is clear.
There is no problem.
No clear.
sir.
No okay.
Clear.
Okay, no, I'll carry on. So now look at this. This will be L naught plus X. So what is that? It is being elongated. How much elongation? X here. Now I'll show that total elastic forces that are acting. No, I'll call that as a spring force. We'll call that as K. So what is K? K is called as the spring constant. Where K is, I'll give a name for that. It's called like a spring constant. What factor? It depends. The spring constant of a spring depends upon Young's modulus, area of cross section of wire, and the natural length L naught.
So what is Y?
Y is called as Young's modulus or elastic constant. Better you call it as now time being elastic constant. Different materials will have different elastic constant. A is area of cross section. Area of cross section of what? Of the material of the wire. Suppose say when you make it. Okay, this is what that area of cross section, not area of cross section of spring. That of the wire which is used to make, no. So that what happen is called as area of cross section. And what about the area? And Y is material. For different material, the value of Y will be different. So definitely, if you pick up any spring, What will be the material? If the spring made up of aluminum, it will, Y will be same. Area of cross section, S, the thickness of wire which is made spring. See, like a, what is area? Not this radius, huh? Not this one. Huh? We are not talking about this one. Area of cross section of wire. That is what A. So definitely that area of cross section will be constant. What is L naught? L naught is the length of the spring, not the length of the wire used to make a spring. Are you getting? Look at the diagram. Suppose if radius of the spring is R, then if there are 100 turns are there, L naught is not like a number of turns into 2 pi r. This is not L naught. L naught is what? Physical length, not length of the wire. Are you getting? L naught is the physical length of the spring, not the length of the wire. Like this, the force, what all the spring force, now we show like this. So now, similarly, if it is compressed, or the spring force here will be acting in this direction, away from the center. If it is elongated, the spring force will act towards center at both the ends. If it is compressed, the spring force will act away from the center of the spring. So how to year afterwards, what is the spring force? So this Kx, you can give name like this. So what is this one? Spring force. So what is that X, or this you have to call L naught minus X. Got the idea, no? So there's one basic thing which you have to remember related to springs. Okay, just see once. I'll proceed to the next.
Sir, is X the same in both the cases, elongated and compressed?
Need not, it can be of anything value.
Sir,
Ah,
sir, in the rod example, sir, we are elongating the rod now, sir.
yes, yeah.
What if we elongate the rod to such a big length that the forces between the molecules aren't effective, sir?
I don't know what you are asking.
Now we'll increase the length of the rod now, sir.
Yes. Rod, elastic body, yeah, like it say.
Okay, sir. And in the rod we have the atoms now, sir.
Yes, yeah.
They are exerting a force, right?
Okay, yeah, fine, yeah.
What if we increase the length of the rod, that the distance between the atoms also increase so much and the force isn't experienceable?
No, nothing. You're not asking some logical question will not help you here. Practically, this is what happens, what I put it.
Okay.
Okay, now let's come for the springs. Okay, now we came to know spring elongated spring force. So let's take example like if there's a spring is there, spring constant K, that one. So there's the end A, there's the end B. Now what I do is like the end A got displaced. Both the ends of the spring, I'll pull it up. So the displacement of end B is XB, the displacement of end A is XA. Now he's asking, what about the total elongation? The total elongation, this is the natural length of the spring. This you call L naught. So now tell me like how much spring got elongated? XA plus XB, no? Are able to make it out? So this NB elongated by XB and A elongated by XA. What is the total elongation of spring? Total elongation of spring is X is equal to XA plus XB. Then how much of spring force? You have to show spring force acting as like this, KX and KX. Don't write KXB, KXA. What is the total elongation of spring? Is XA plus XB. So why XA plus XB? You know from here only directly what is the increase in length. This end I'll move by 1 centimeter, this 2 centimeter. What is the total increase in length? 3 centimeters. So what is the total elongation of spring? 3 centimeters. So how much of spring force? Total elongation into spring constant will be spring force. As it is elongated, our spring force should act at the ends directed towards center. Similarly, I will compress the spring. Then this end is compressed by a distance xa. This end is compressed by distance xb. Then what is the total elongation? Again, the same thing. So the total elongation is x equal to xa plus xb. Then what about the spring force? The spring force now total elongation is x, no? So how the spring force will act away. You can show anywhere. So let me show at the ends. Got this? So if the both ends are moved opposite, then what is the elongation or compression will be sum of the displacement of the ends. Okay, now there's the first case. You see now a situation arises for you of like this. Compared to this, so end A. Okay, now I'll make the end A to undergo displacement. Even the end B undergone displacement. Look at now, the displacement of this is towards right. The displacement of this end is also towards right. Now, if I put xb greater than xa, now what is the state of spring? Both the ends have displacement in same direction. Then what is the net displacement if xb greater than xa? Is it elongation or compression? You should tell me. Like it's very easy, no? This will be 3 centimeters. Xb, let it be 3 centimeter. Xa 1 centimeter. So length of spring increase or decrease? It increased. So it got elongated. So therefore, how the spring force I have to show? The spring force should be kx like that. Then what is the value of x? The value of x should be xb minus xa. It happens that both the ends will have displacement in same direction. Then is it a compression or elongation? We will tell. You have to look at the situation here. So this is at natural length spring. Then what is the state of spring? This is elongated. Similarly, the first case A, case B, I'll put it. If xa greater than xb. You can see clearly here now, xa is greater than xb, no? So what is the state of what is the state of spring? The spring here, it got compressed here. The B is having more displacement than it. So what is the state of spring? Spring got compressed here. So compressed in the sense how the spring force should act away like this. So here I'll show it so that will be visible for you clearly. Got the idea, no? So here both the hands will have displacement. Then is it elongation or compression? I think we have to look at the situation. Just not like where spring means always elongated. Spring means always compressed. No, look at that one. And now if similarly, both are having displacement in same direction. So here I think from looking at the diagram, now third situation. If xb equal to, I think this will be quite easy, no, to really assess the thing. And how is the displacement? The displacement of both the springs are away from each other at both the ends. So what is the state of spring now? It got elongated, no? So what is the state of spring? Elongated. What is the state of spring? Compressed here. Now what is the elongation now? Anything XA greater than XB, XB that one. So total elongation should be XA plus XB. Then how the spring force should act? Spring force should act in this direction. I think this when both the ends are having displacement in same direction. Here, what is the thing? For these two cases, what happened? Both the ends are displaced in same direction. Here, what happened? Both are displaced in opposite direction. Okay, let's last one more case. Option D, this one. So here, what I do, I'll compress the spring. So this is the XA. And this is the position of A and B. So both the ends, it got compressed, no? XA and this is XB. Now, what is the state of spring now? So it is said to be compressed. Again, what is the elongation? What is the compression? You have to write XA plus XB. Then how the spring forces you will show. So it will be in this direction. Okay, got this. So this is the thing. So now what you can comment? Both the ends are displaced in opposite direction. Then this the condition is what you have to follow. Okay, got the idea. So this about the so what we have to do is like we have to check it. Is it both the ends of the spring are getting displaced or only one end? So another situation we do come across like this. I'll show it here. So D. Okay, we'll take the next condition. The situation is one end of the spring is fixed to the wall. This is the natural length. Then what I do is I will pull one end. You look at the point P. So what is the displacement of the other end? It's zero, no? So which end got displaced? The right end. So what is the displacement? Let it be X. Then how much of spring force? The spring force will be Kx. You have to show that force acting here also. Of course, this force cannot displace the wall, but there'll be force exerted by the spring on the wall. This you can try. You take elastic band. You can pull both the ends, or you can pull only one end. If you pull one end, will there be elastic band will exert force on your left arm also? Yes, it will be no. This is a simple common sense, nothing to do with any big physics here. So as it is elongated, so spring force will act at the both ends, that is acted towards center. So if it is compressed, then how much of compression? The compression is so how much of compression? The compression here is X. Then how much of spring force? Spring force now will act in this direction. Now what you should call this spring? The first one is natural length. This is elongated and this particular thing is compressed. You do come across situations of like this here. So we discuss in detail again springs in work point chapter, again in elastic chapter. Here what happened? Just we are studying the spring force. Spring force what happened is like elastic body. Spring is a good example of elastic body. So there elastic force will act. That elastic force only we'll call it as spring force. How to get the direction of spring force? I'm just giving the example. This what actually we have to just learn something and we have to come out. Don't get into atoms, molecular structure because we don't study in physics the atomic structure in detail. You have to come out of that like unnecessary thinking. Here we are just learning the body and the application part. Directly now we are going to learn the application now. We are not bothered like how that molecular force, what is the force between the molecules, how it will act, what is the equation for that. All that is irrelevant in physics. Flexible body is something different, no? Not at all defined in physics. Elastic body, plastic body, and rigid body. So that's a grammatical word, not use it for in physics. Elastic, plastic, and rigid. We define like this. Let's come first. So this is about the the overall idea of the spring. So let's do one thing. Springs in parallel. Springs in parallel and series. So first, let me discuss the parallel. Means if I want to replace a given spring by an equivalent one, then what I should do? I'll do one thing. I need a lot of space and I'll proceed down. Yeah, how much is there? We'll do here only. Springs in parallel. First, I'll start like this. What do you mean by parallel? So here I'm going to connect two springs like this. This is a block. Now I want to replace these two springs by an equivalent spring, only one spring. K equivalent, I'll call it. What's be the effective spring constant? So, or K1, this is K2, this is K. Now what is the method is, I'll display this block. When I displace it, okay, that's one. Will both springs will have same elongation? Yes, both the springs will have the same elongation, K1, K2. Look at the elongation, how much it will be, x. Then how much of spring force will act? K1x and K2x. Then the spring, what happened? The block is acted upon by both the forces. So because of that, it will start moving. Now, when I can say that this spring is equivalent of that. So what I'm trying to do, if there are two springs are there, can I replace them with one equivalent spring? Is what I'm trying to do. So now, so what is the elongation? Let it be x. How much acceleration of the block here? If this spring also provides same acceleration. So what does it mean? What was the acceleration of the block first case? Acceleration of the block will be K1x plus K2x equal to ma. No? Then what is the acceleration of the block in the second case? Kx equal to ma. I'll equate these two. So K1 plus K2 equal to K. So if the two springs are connected in such a way that I want to replace them with an equivalent spring, then what is the equivalent spring constant should be K1 plus K2. I'll call them as parallel. Sir, what do you mean by parallel? So here, what is the assumption is like a both will have same elongation. You can see. I'll display the block. Both the springs will have same elongation. Then, because of that, what happened? Now I'll bring another equivalent spring. I'll display the block by same distance x. Then I'll calculate the acceleration acting on the block. Both the cases it is same. Then I'll equate. Then shall I say that what these two springs are producing action on the block, the same action is produced by this spring. So I'll call this as now equivalent of these two. How they are connected in parallel. This particular way of connecting things are said to be parallel. Like this, sir, if three springs are there, then K1 plus K2 plus K3. Like this, if there are n springs are there, K equal to K1 plus K2, K3, K4, Kn. The effective spring constant will get like this. So there's a one basic way of replacing this one. Why do we use this? It's having wide applications to study the effect of a body. No, a good example is the series parallel. Where do we use the bed nowadays? Nowadays, spring beds are there. No, so then what happened in designing? What happened? We take help of all these particular formulas. So this is about the springs in series, the parallel. So now springs in parallel. Sorry, in series. So these are the two springs are there. Let this be K2, let this be K1. I want to replace this with an equivalent spring. What to do now? What method we have to apply? Okay, let's come for the forces acting one by one. Here, what is the state of the spring? The spring one got elongated because it's when you definitely stretch a body, no, the weight of this will act. So who will balance this weight? Now you know what is the state of block? It is at rest. Then how much of spring force? Here this spring is connected, no? So spring force will act here. So K2, X2. Then what is the state of the spring? Let it be elongated. So how the spring force here? On this spring, you have to show like this. Is it okay? No? When spring is elongated, what you have to do? You have to show forces acting towards the center of the spring. What is the state of upper spring? It is also elongated. So then how the forces here? K1, X1. So what is that point P? It's like a joint. So what is the state of both the springs? Both the springs got elongated. Elongation, elongation. I want to replace this with an equivalent spring. What should be the spring constant? So here, let this be mg. So here, how much of elongation in this spring? Let it be kx. What does it mean? How much, when two springs are connected, how much block will undergo displacements? Here also the block should undergo the same displacement. Then only you can say like the same action is there by both the springs. So how much block has undergone displacement when both the springs are present? That much of that much of same displacement the block should undergo when I when I connect only one spring. Then what you can say, this spring is equivalent of these two. I took here help of acceleration. Here open, I should took help of the displacement of block. What action these two springs are performing on this block? The same action open. This one equivalent spring should perform on the block. What action here? The displacement. Go this idea now. This should be. So therefore, now first, what you can write here, k1 x1. I'll come to the discussion for this here only. K1 x1 equal to K2 x2 equal to mg. Or I'll come by order. Let's look at the block. So what you can write, K2 x2 equal to mg. Look at the point P. K1 x1 equal to K2 x2. You see that what is the state of springs? They are at rest, no? So the net force here should be 0. Net force at point P should be 0. So K1 x1 equal to K2 x2. Then what is the total elongation? Is equal to sum of elongation in individual thing. Then this is mg by k. With this, in place of x1, what you can write? I'll write one more. Therefore, even k1 x1 shall I write equal to mg? According to this, so this is block at rest. I brought this first equation. Point P is at rest. I brought second equation. Then equating 1 and 2. K1 x1 is equal to mg. So what is the total elongation of spring? X1 plus x2. So looking at this block, what is kx? Equal to mg, because what is the state of block at rest? So therefore, in place of x, what I can write? Mg by k. In place of x1, mg by k1, mg by k2. So what is the effective spring constant? 1 by k equal to 1 by k1 plus 1 by k2. Or k is equal to k1, k2 plus this one. Just do remember, if they're parallel, the effective spring constant of the springs, they're in series, no, the effective spring constant should be less than the least value. When they're parallel, the effective spring constant will be greater than the greatest value. Like this, the springs series parallel will replace this one. So why we are bringing this idea? If there are many springs are there, how to replace them with an equivalent one? So there's one formula is what we are going to take help of. Just all this information. So in numericals, totally different conditions we are going to apply it. Okay, I'll move down. Some good questions of Pathfinder I picked up. So these are fundamental questions which are missing in other book. Very good application problem. That will give overall picture for student. Okay, let's take the other discussion. So first thing, okay, it's a spring series parallel. We came to know that one. So now if it is a system, if we have system like this, So this is K, 2K, 3K. So I want to replace this with an equivalent spring constant. So first of all, how these two are? These two are parallel. The effective of this will become in series with this one. So the equivalent spring constant will be 2K and 3K. So how much it should be? 6K by 5 according to the formula. Then this is K and this is the block. How these two are now?
Sir, if it is in parallel, we should add them also.
So sorry, yeah,
5K.
parallel. Yeah, sorry, this one. This will be 5K. Yeah. 2K plus 3K, this will be 5K. Now, how these two are. So I'll call this as say some A something. That A is here. Now these two are, they are in series. So the effective spring constant now will be 5K and K. 5K. So this will be 5 by 6K. Like this, many set of springs will come. So how to replace them? There's a one series parallel method what we'll apply. So you can ask questions, why you are doing like this? See here, working with this will be really troublesome. If one spring, I'm very comfortable. Therefore, I'll take help of series parallel to check whether like what is the displacement of block. Now I can easily analyze the motion of the block here, no, than this one. That's why we are bringing this method. That's the only purpose. Okay, now you do get a situation where this is K, this is 2K. This pulley is light. Now I want the effective spring constant of the system. Effective spring constant of the system. So what we should do? We have to find out the equivalent spring constant. Are they series or parallel? They're nor series nor parallel. No? So you may get a situation of this kind also. They're nor series nor parallel. Then what method we have to apply? So what you do is like, let the displacement of block be X. You pull down the block by X. Then let this spring be elongated by X1. Let this spring be elongated by the X2. We can compare like this. Is it okay? No. So assume that only spring 2K is there. Then if the block moves by X, let it be elongated by X1. Then or it's the what is the method? I'll pull the block by a distance X. Then both the springs will get elongated. Let the elongation be X1 and X2. We don't know how much. Let's assume that X1 and X2. I'm assuming that one. I think it's quite natural. If I pull the block by distance X, then what happened to the springs? They'll get elongated. Let the elongation in individual in the respective springs be X1 and X2. Okay, let's come for how X, X1, X2 are related. So I'll take help of superposition principle. X is equal to, let's assume that only spring 1, spring 2K is there. Then assume that the spring is not there. Assume that one. If the block moves by 1 meter down, how much the spring will elongate? 1 meter. Is that okay? Assume that the spring is not there. Just as the one wire is there. Then if the block moves by 1 meter, then how much this will move up? How much spring will elongate? By 1 meter. So therefore, what is X is equal to? X is equal to X1. Then assume that now this spring not there. Assume that the spring K and the block is there. If I move this point on a pulley by 1 meter, then how much block will move? By 2 meter, constraint equation. So what is the displacement of block X? twice the displacement, the elongation of this spring. I am asking you to come to constant equation. If I move a point on a pulley by 1 meter, here 1 meter will become loose. The block will move down by how much? 2 meters. So what is the displacement of block? Twice the elongation of this spring. So here, this I'll write it as 2x2. Okay, let's come for spring forces. How much of spring force is elongated, no? So how much of spring force? Here, kx2 will act. Then how much of spring force will act? Should act here? 2k x1. And then pulley is light. The same spring force should act here only. 2k x1. So if you want to, the spring is elongated, no? So therefore, how the spring force should act at this particular point. So what is this? All of you able to get this? Spring is elongated. So how the spring, what spring is elongated. So what spring force will do? Will act. Yeah, it should be like this. 2k, because only everything is a spring. So this spring force, what happened? It's elongated, no? So here shall I write like this? Now those who are getting confusion how to show forces, I'm showing in detail. Why, sir, you are showing like this? Is it justifying? What is the state of both the springs? Both the springs got elongated. So if you want to write information, elongated.
Sir, can you explain again why 2x2?
Constant equation, if the pulley P moves by 1 meter, assume that this spring is not there. If this moves by 1 meter, here 1 meter will become loose. This will move by 2 meters. If this point,
Yes, sir, understood.
if this moves by 1 meter, this will elongate by 1 meter, no? But this block will move by 2 meters. So there's a constant equation I'm bringing. Okay, now let me equate the forces. So what is the net force on the pulley? Pulley is massless. So net force should be equal to 0. Pulley is massless, so therefore kx2 should be equal to 2 into 2k x1. So what is x2 equal to? 4x1. There's a relationship between. So there's equation 1. There's equation 2. Let's come for. I'll replace x1 or x2. I'll replace here. Put 2 in 1. X equal to x1 plus 2 into x2 is how much? 4x1. So x is equal to x1 plus 8x1. So x1 equal to x by 8.
Sir, x by 9.
X by 9. I'll substitute this value of x1 here. So this will become 4x by 9. So if you displace a block by x, what will happen to the springs? Like they will have displacement x by 9 and 4x by 9. Huh? If x is the displacement of block, so what is the displacement of the other two springs will be given this much. So are they, if they are in series, what would happen? If they are in series or something. So can you say anything about series, parallel? No, they are not series, not parallel. Springs are not series, not parallel. Sir, how do I come to know? I think looking at the diagram. Look at the diagram, because one pulley has come because of that. They are not series, not parallel. So whenever, so you get a situation where they're not series, not parallel. So we have to use this method to find out what is the elongation in each spring. What is the elongation in each spring? So this is about the basic idea about how to calculate elongation in each spring. So what was the question I asked? So can you replace them by one equivalent spring? Can we replace them with an equivalent spring? Yeah, that we can do it, but we have to take help of the SHM condition. So that is not advisable to teach the topics of that. So time being, I'm just telling what will be the displacement of individual like elongation individual springs. So if you have SHM idea, there what happen? We'll replace these two springs by an equivalent spring constant. I have to find out the time period of the block. From there, I have to get an expression for that. So that will be, I think, a lot of burden for a student. So I'll try to avoid. So any of you, if you know SHM, you can continue. Since most of you might have not have depth of concept of SHM, no, I'll just stop it here. With the SHM, what happened? We can find out equivalent spring constant. Time being, I'll stop it here only. If you take some Pathfinder, some books, no, they are asking questions of like this, where you need further concepts, which we have to enter into SSM chapter. Simple harmonic motion, some around 6 hours, we have to do discussion, then we can conclude here. But in exams, they may ask you something, find the elongation of the springs. Okay, got this. So I can bring any number of springs and I can test, if I display the block by a certain distance, then what is the elongation in other part of string. So this is the method what you have to apply it. Okay, let's come for some. Okay, all of you read the question. This from Pathfinder, we brought it. Uniform massless spring, if extended to compress, distance between every two consecutive turns. Read once, read the question. A little bit very lengthy. First, we'll discuss part A, then we'll come to the part B. First, we'll concentrate on part A. I'll tell you now, the Hooke's law is nothing but the spring force. The force is directly proportional to displacement. Stress is directly proportional to displacement. So what is Hooke's law? I tell you, Hooke's law, what it says. Stress is directly proportional to strain. What do you mean by stress? Stress means force by area. What do you mean by strain? Change in length by original length. Like this for, if you look at the spring, so that the Hooke's law is what this particular says. So he's telling some information, you see, very good information he has put it really. A spring obeying this property and Hooke's law is called as a linear spring. A uniform massless spring, if extended compress, the distance between every two consecutive turns changes by the same amount. Something telling. So if you look at the spring, it will have turns, that each turn is also called as the distance between two consecutive turns. The distance between turns is called like a pitch. So if you take a spring, I'll draw the diagram. So what is the diagram? You read the question. Meanwhile, I'll end up with a diagram. Okay, what is a turn? So this is the 1, second turn, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Like this, we can assume the number of turns. Wait. Let me, I want answers, no? Find the force constant of the spring. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Okay, this about the spring here, 15, 16. Okay, let it be that one. So now what is the question? A linear spring of relaxed length L naught. So what is the length of the spring? Let it be L naught. So let's assume that some 16 turns are there. Okay, now what I do is I'm going to this will be position. The sixth turn. I'm taking some account to the question. The sixth turn will come to the position of the eighth turn. Three, 4, 5, yeah, 6. So what is the state of spring? It got elongated, no? So just show it more length, that's all. So this was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, look at the sixth turn. The sixth turn came to the position of the eighth turn, no?
1600 Newton per meter.
Wait. And I'll check. I'm discussing concept, no? Please let me finish off. In the end, you can answers. You please wait because I'm explaining concept, no? So this will be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So therefore, so now this is the distance L6, no? So it got displaced. So now this should be the, so how much of spring force? So now for that I'll apply a force. So here what happened? I'm going to apply a force. Find the force constant of the spring, a force of 16 Newton. As he has given that also. I applied a 16 Newton. Now this about overall the thing that one force applied, length of the spring given 30 centimeter. The sixth turn will be at the position of the eighth turn. With this information, we have to calculate now what is the spring constant of the spring. Okay, got the idea now? So now what is the number of turns per unit length? So we'll assume that one. So how many others? N turns. Here I shown N, 16 turns. Let there be N turns. So let N be the number of turns. Let N be the, in the question I shown 16, it can be anything. Let N be the number of turns of spring. Okay, now what is the length of L6? Here the distance I shown you some gap, but practically I think if you just open some spring in your pen, no, that one. So what is the gap between individual turn will be almost negligible. Distance between consecutive pitch changes by same amount. Here to make you understand, I brought a gap, but practically what will be this gap? This gap will be almost negligible. Will I agree all of you? So therefore, with that information, what I can write now. To make you understand, I do diagram like this. Otherwise, what happens? The gap should not be there between the turns. The turns what happen will almost come in contact. So what is the for 6 coils? So length I'll define quantity called as lambda. So what is the lambda? Length per number of coil. Length per number of turns or coils, anything. Since we used word, okay, turns are right. Turns or coil. So shall we go for N by L naught? Oh, sorry, L naught by N. There's a one assumption I'm making it. And now, what is L6? Anybody? What is L6? You should write. What is L6? You should write.
6.
L6. I'm going to write it as 6 turns into lambda, or 6 L naught by N. What about L8? 8 lambda, 8 L naught by N. So displacement of the coil. So what is the displacement of the coil now? So it should be L6, L8 minus L6 is what X, no? So from the diagram, what is X I should write now? So this X should be called displacement of sixth turn. Should be equal to, X should be equal to L8 minus L6. So this should be equal to how much? 8 lambda minus 6 lambda. I'm just, you can solve by any method. Just I'm using the procedure. This will be. So 2 L naught by N. Now come for this. He has put one condition. The distance between every 2 consecutive turns changes by same amount. So what do you mean by that one? The strain of any part of string should be equal to the total strain of the spring. That is what this sentence I'm going to convert it. I am writing that one. So what is the meaning of this sentence? See, most of you might have studied in school the springs, but this particular idea is what is not being put, not being expressed even in book. But this is something very basics of the spring. I don't know why books and teachers have missed it. So what do you mean by this? The distance between every 2 consecutive turns changes by same amount. Means the strain in any part should be equal to the total strain of the spring, or the strain in one part should be equal to strain in the other part of the string, or the strain in one part of the string should be equal to strain in total string, that one. So here the strain in one turn, this is the question itself he has explained, that I'm going to interpret here now. Strain in one turn. There's a property of spring, sir. Why you are writing this equation? The question itself says, what do you mean by spring? The spring which we are discussing is having this particular property. Strain in total So from where this you brought it? This is the property of a spring itself. I am writing it this one. Don't question this, sir. Practically, if you take spring and do measurement, no, it will do obey this particular thing. So what is the strain in? What is the strain in the particular thing, that one? How to get this particular thing? So X by L6 shall I write? Strain in one turn, strain in the sixth turn, X by L6 should be equal to strain in total string, total elongation, let it be XT. I didn't write total elongation, you see. There should be XT and length is L naught. Okay, let's substitute all the things now. So we know what is the, I'll proceed down. Anybody, what is X? X we know, 2 L naught by, I think I can write it here only. 2 L naught by N. What is L6? 6 L naught by N. Equal to So this should be xt. What is xt in place of xt? What you can write? The F should be equal to kxt, no? Can you remember this? So what is the total elongation of spring is xt. Then how much of force we applied? We applied a force F equals 60 Newton. What this should be equal to? This will produce elongation of xt, that one. So what is the applied force? It is given 60 Newton. So what is the spring force? Will be xt. This is what applied force. This is what spring force. So therefore, in place of xt, what I can write? F by k, and this is L naught. So we wanted expression for k, no? So anybody value k will be
3, sir.
3, sir.
k equal to how much?
3, sir.
3. What is 3?
4, sir.
No, 60 Newton. You know, L naught get cancels. L naught get cancels. L naught get cancelled, so n get cancelled. So 3. So this k should be equal to
6, sir.
6, sir.
no,
Sir.
6.
no expression for in terms of FL naught. You give it. 3FL by I'll write it. 3F by L naught. Okay, fine. Substitute value of F, and L naught is how much given?
30.
Okay, 30. Convert that into meter and check it. How much you'll get value of K?
Sir.
3 into 60 by L naught is 30 centimeters. So 0.3 meter, no? So how much value of K will be? I'll proceed to the next. So K should be equal to 3F by L naught. So 3 into, what is the value of F? 60. What is L naught? L naught is 30 centimeter. 30 centimeter, or 3 into 60 by 0.3 meter. So this should be 600 Newton per meter. Okay, fine. This should be our answer. Of all this, this is the property of spring, which you remember, really going to help you a lot. The strain in one turn is equal to strain in total string, or strain in one part of the string is equal to strain in other part of the string. This is one basic property of the spring itself. So he has put this information in the question. I don't know, it is very badly missing in our books, and the teacher also never bothered to stress anything. No, meter, no. This is spring constant. What is the unit for spring constant? Force by displacement. Okay, after this is asking now the second part of the problem. Come for second part. The ends A and B of linear spring of relaxed length L naught are so pulled that the end shift by distance delta LA and delta LB. As shown in figure, find the shift of a point of spring that was at a distance L naught by 3 from the end A in the relaxed spring, that one. Okay, now look at this. So what is asking? There are two ends are there. There's a spring. So there's a point P is there. At what distance it is? At a distance of L by 3. At a distance of L by 3 from the end A. So what is the displacement of that point is asking? How to bring that? All of you, if you read question, I think I can explain you on the top itself. No? We have a space here, no? And I'll bring it here. This is again one more very important information which a student must have that one. See, before entering any numericals, no, you must have this one basic property. There's a end A and end B, and there's a point P. So where the point P is telling like it is at a distance L naught by 3. Total length of the spring is how much? 2 L naught by 3. So how much the end A and end B, they are displaced by some distance. Both are having same displacement? No. The end A is displaced by, I'll just call XA rather than delta XA. No, let me call only XA. No problem, that is. Huh? The displacement of this. The displacement of this end is asking what be the displacement of this point. I don't know this point where it will be for our understanding purpose. Somewhere I put it. I don't know displacement right or left. That should be brought from the answer. You try to. I'm giving some reference diagram. This is what is happening. Yellow color lines are you seeing? So is it a displacement of point P towards right, towards left? We don't know. Yeah. Any other information given? Nothing. Only this much, sir. How do we can tell displacement of point P? Shall we say displacement of point P is 0? So again, I'm asking you to go back to distance between every two consecutive turns changes by the same amount. Or nothing but I wrote one formula. What is that? Strain in one part of spring should be equal to strain in other part of the spring. Other part of the spring. So we'll do one thing. Like here the displacement B is towards right, no? Anything directed towards right, I'll take it positive. Anything directed towards right, I'll take it positive. Okay, now let's analyze. I'm not sure about the displacement of the one which you don't know what pen, we don't put sign. So change in length of like a AP by original length should be equal to change in length of BP by original length. So nothing but the strain in one part of the string should be equal to strain in other part. The core idea, property of spring. Don't forget here. See, like I know many of you have learned just some teachers shown some method. Okay, how to find out spring constant, spring speed is parallel, that one. But in advance, when you go for Olympiad, no, definitely they will stress you how far you are very good in the basics, how far you know basics and how you can apply. Just like if you gather information, go to the Olympiad, no, definitely in a big trouble. Now, strain in, shall I put like this? Strain in part PA should be equal to strain in part PB. Again, the same property of spring. So I'll write it here. Strain in part PB is equal to why you find this pathfinder very difficult means some hidden concepts are there which are not reflected in book. That's why though you know all the ideas, everything, no, still when you go there, no, the core idea is what happened, that itself what happened, clarity will not be there. That's why what happened, the pathfinder will take more time for you to solve problem. Yes, there's a way of that book itself, because the book is meant purely for what, like the out of 22 problems in advance may come of pathfinder or you can put out of 20 around 5% of numericals will be of the pathfinder type. The remaining 15 as usual, typical normal book, what we have Cengage, other thing. But if you go for Olympiad, no, this book is what the best thing. Almost every numerical will be the numericals of this kind in this book. So those who are targeting for Olympiad, it's a compulsory. Those who are targeting for advanced, better rank, you must put effort. At least need not to solve 100%. Even if you solve 40% or even you solve 30% also enough. But daily make a practice of solving at least 2 numericals. Just take 2 numericals and try to work out. Just try to think on them. Okay, what is the strain in part A, that one? So here minus XA. Why negative sign? The displacement of end A is towards left, no? Minus of XB. I don't know this. I'll not put sign. Divided by, what is the length of this? L0 by 3. What do you mean by strain? Change in length by original length, no? Should be equal to XB What is XB now? XB equal to how much I should write? Plus XB minus XP. So I'm not sure about XP direction, so I'm leaving it by 2 L0 by 3. Okay, solve this, you'll get the displacement of point P. Anybody value? L0 by 3 get cancelled, so this will be minus 2XA, minus 2XA, minus 2XB, 2 by 3, no? So 2 by 3 equal to XB minus XP. So this will become XB plus 2XA by 3 should be equal to 2 by 3 1 plus 1 minus 2 by 3. So XP by 3 will come. Just substitute this value. So therefore, what is XP is equal to? XP should be equal to 3XB plus 2XA. Uh, 2 by 3 minus 1, no?
Sir, L0 by 3 will be cancelled, sir.
Yes, sir. L0 by
Yes,
3
sir.
will be cancelled.
L0 by 3 will get cancelled. So I think that, okay, this 2 will not be there.
3 will not be there in the denominator.
3 will not be there. Okay, fine. I'll make correction. This will become 2XB plus XA, 2XA. Then this should be only XP. Yeah. Anybody value? XB, XA, how much given? The displacement. Already I substituted sign. Huh? You need not to bother. Already I substituted sign. So what is XB equal to? 25.
35 centimeters.
35, sir.
35 centimeter. Check once, is this anything went, everything is in order? I want you to analyze the problem.
Sir, we'll get minus 35.
No. So something still most of you are not observing the condition.
It will go to the left side.
Yes, it will go to the left side.
No, I'm not bothered answer. Huh? Left or right, leave it. I want you to really think once here. Really, everything is fine because still most of you are not.
Sir,
I
have a doubt, sir.
Yeah. I just yes. Yeah.
In the question, he gave distance between every two consecutive turns changes by the same amount. So it means displacement of one turn will be equals to displacement of each and every turn in the spring rate.
No, the distance between every two consecutive turns changes by the same amount. Okay, that one. There's the one thing. Okay, now come for this. I'll explain you that one. Okay, come for this. Any problem arised here? I'll come back to your application. So anybody, can you say anything happened here in the formula? Did we apply it properly? Because this is something very important. How to use this formula is what we have to learn.
Sir, we'll get XP negative, sir.
Okay, no, I don't bother answer, ma. I'm asking you to look at this equation. Look at this equation. Don't bother answer, whatever the answer. Let's come for this. Is this properly we applied? See, altogether, what will happen? The spring what happen? The displacement of NB is how much? 25 centimeter. This is 5 centimeter, no? That will be. So what will happen to all parts of this spring will have same displacement in all direction. There can be some point which will be at rest, no? I think nobody made observation. There'll be some point on a spring which will be at rest. So therefore, this particular formula is what will happen. It should be like this. XP minus of, this will be XA. What is XA? XA is towards left, no? So I'll put it. So we are not sure. We are just assuming that the NB is having more displacement. So I'll just assume that one. So I'll do like this. XB minus XP by 2L0 by 3. 2L0 by 3. Then XP minus of minus XA. So since XA was displacement towards left, no, I'm writing this. Got the idea, no? This one. Now you substitute and solve it. If you get XP negative, that particular point P is having displacement towards left. If you get XP positive, that particular point is having displacement towards right. Got the
Sir,
idea? So
I didn't get it, sir.
I'll finish. I'll just let me work out the calculation part. I'll come to the explanation, that one. So here this should be, I'll erase all this. Okay, that particular formula again, the question, the formula given, no, that is something very, very important, that one. All our ideas revolve around that particular formula. Okay, now come for this. This should be
We get 5, sir.
2xp
I sir.
plus 2xa is equal to xb minus xp. Okay, so solve this now. XP will be 5 centimeter. Huh? Yeah.
Yes, sir. 5.
Check the answer given in the book will be 5 centimeter. Means what happened here? So we have to be very careful about the strain. How you define strain? So don't measure strain, because the strain should be positive. What all you calculate strain, no, is telling like the strain will be equal at all points. The change in length by the distance of the change in one part, the change in length of one part by length of the part, that should be constant throughout the spring. So therefore, XB minus XP should be equal to XB minus XP by BP should be equal to what? XP minus of XA by PA. So what you have to take care is, you have to take care in such a way that the strain is equal. No? So if I write previous one, what I did there what when you are telling that strain positive, here strain negative. No, the strain is same everywhere. The strain in one part of the string should be equal to strain in other part of the string. So therefore, what do you mean by strain? Change in length. So XB minus XP by 2L0 by 3 should be equal to XP minus XA by L0 by 3. I think the basic formula, we should apply it properly. So here I'll change it. So this is what some books they have given wrong like this also, but this should be the correct. Strain in one part of the spring should be equal to strain in other part of the string. That's what the meaning of this particular sentence. Don't assume in other way. The meaning of this sentence is the strain in one part of the string should be equal to strain in other part, or strain in one part of the string should be equal to strain in total part of the string. Getting the idea now? Sir, can you locate a point where the displacement will be 0? Can we locate a point on a spring where the displacement will be 0? I'm giving it as a question. Can we find out? So you have to put XP, no? So I'll come to the question. Okay, here what I'm going to do is, this is spring. This will be the typical questions what you can expect. There's no way. So now what I'm asking a point on a spring which will be at rest, and the length of the spring, let it be L. So this is given displacement I'll give displacement in opposite direction. Now, what is your next question I'm asking? What is the, so find the locator point on a spring which will be at rest. Find the, so I'll give the question. The ends of spring are displaced as shown. Find the point P. Find the point P on a spring which will be at rest or which will not undergo displacement, which will not undergo. This is very important. Which will not undergo displacement. Is it possible? So the point P will not move. Are you looking at this? So where the point P? There only I'm showing it. Is this possible to locate such a point? Again, what is the formula? The strain in one part should be equal to strain in other part. So the formula will proceed here. Strain in the part BP should be equal to strain in the part PA. Now, what is the strain in part? How did you tell S there'll be at least one point on a spring which will not undergo displacement? There's a simple common sense. Again. So if there's a spring, if I give equal displacement, okay, tell me like at least a student must, instead of asking teacher a question, no, so they should really think on this one. So both both the ends I'll give equal displacement. This is ND, this is NB. Both the ends I'll give same displacement. Tell me like the midpoint will not undergo displacement. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Finish or no? This you take elastic band. That's why I'm telling this one. The observation, the outside physical world, knowledge of physical world, very, 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 very important. Just if you know formulas, if you know some physics, not possible. We must have a very general idea about the objects. So if both ends are given same displacement, the midpoint will be at rest. Midpoint P will not shift. No, what I made, I gave the ends different displacement. So definitely the midpoint will shift, but there'll be some point which will not shift. I want the location of that point from the end B. So strain in part B should be equal to strain in part A. So what is the strain in part BP? This should be equal to XB minus XP by what is the length of this is equal to X. Or if you want, I'll write it R. This should be equal to XP minus of minus XC should be equal to L minus R. We know what should be the XP value. XP should be 0, no? Why 0? Because the question itself is given. So this should be XB by R equal to XA L minus R. So we have to solve for L minus R by R equal to XA by XB. So L by R minus 1. Further this is equal to 1 plus XA by XB. So what is R is equal to? XB by L by xa plus xb. So this is the location of point which will be at rest at this particular distance from the NB. Okay, got the idea now? So there'll be some point on a spring. Always there'll be some point on a spring which will be at rest. So you do one thing, just analyze now. If both the ends of spring are given displacement in same direction, opposite, analyze all. I give this basic formula. So our entire discussion revolves around this, what information he has given. So this, don't forget the possibility of asking questions on very simple basic idea of the spring. The strain in every part of string must be constant. So strain in one part should be equal to strain in another part, or strain in one part should be equal to strain in total part of the spring. Let's take few more questions. All these are Pathfinder. Every question is coming with some idea. Every question comes with idea. There's a small question. We'll take this one here. Okay, read the question. I'm just magnifying it. A light uniform string is tied between ceiling and the floor, keeping a spring vertical as shown. A bead of finite mass is glued at a distance L from upper end of spring and then allowed to move gradually downward. The bead shifts a distance y to come to in equilibrium. The experiment is repeated for different values of L. What is L? At a distance L. Which of the following graph shows the best dependence of y on L? Just know what you learned, you should apply. Just know what you learned, you should apply. Okay, this is the spring. Natural length of the spring, how much it is, that is telling L. This is the length. So now I'll take a bead. I'll bring it here. So let the distance of this be L. It is like this. Huh? Now